Hey guys, you guys have been asking for an update on the car, and here we are. I finally had some chance to work on it this week. Haven't really done anything other than started on the trunk here. So if you recall, I had to cut out the 4 rear body mount bolts, and so I have replaced those bolts. I welded in washers and nuts so that if I ever have to take those bolts out again, hopefully they won't free spin on me and I can actually successfully remove them. Obviously here the whole trunk pan has been cut out, all good nasty crud over there. I have wire brushed pretty much the entire area and then sprayed it down with Ospo. I still got to wipe it down with some mineral spirits and clean it up some so that I can paint it. There's some holes in this section of the body here. And then what I was not very pleasantly surprised to find was that this whole section here was all rotted out. So I had to cut it all out. You can tell that the window seal right there in that corner has pulled away from the actual metal. Looks like it's still touching the glass, but there's water been pouring in there, and it's probably been pouring out of the other corner as well. But the other corner wasn't nearly as bad, so I was able to actually just kind of save that one. So I'll have to recreate a little piece of panel to go in right here at some point. But for right now, I kind of want to concentrate on the trunk pan because I feel like that's going to be one of the harder spots to get to. So as far as procedure here, I'm just going to start cutting some things out of cardboard, see if I can get it to fit in here. If I can get it to fit in there out of cardboard, I got to go cut some steel, weld the steel in. We'll go ahead and throw some ribs in it with the bead roller and see if we can make it rigid. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest, I am flying by the seat of my pants here, so let's see what this turns out to look like. So I kind of think I'm going to 3-piece this thing. I'm going to have one piece that goes from here to the middle of this support, another piece from middle of support to middle of support, and then another piece from middle of support all the way to the other end. That's the thought. It may end up being 2 pieces on each side. So one piece for this quad, one piece for this quad, one piece in the middle, one piece up here, one piece down there. I know you can't see what I'm pointing at over there, but anyways, I got 27 at my widest point here, about 27 and a half to the center of that, and that's about 25 and a half. How much cardboard do I have to work with here? 27. I don't even have enough cardboard to work with, unless I do the other way. Same way. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to turn the cardboard sideways and use it that way. So we'll use it like this. Alright, so now that I've got my pattern made, you see it's not a full-size pattern. I don't have a piece of cardboard this big readily available. So what I'm going to do is measure. You see I've got my other cardboard here so I can make sure that they're always in the right position. So, got this one sitting where it goes. And keep it aligned, right? Here's my mark up here. So I'm going to measure from that point to this point and get a length. I'm going to measure from that point to that point, get my length, and then that's going to set me my full pattern. From there, I'm going to cut my metal a little bit bigger, and I'm probably going to cut a couple of pieces of scrap metal first, just because I don't know exactly how much shrinkage occurs when you put the beads in there. I'd imagine there's some shrinkage that happens. I just don't know exactly how much. Never done it before. Y'all are about to join me on it. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to try to make a dummy piece first, just to see. I want to know how much shrinkage and form while I'm forming it, what all that does to it. I got a piece of 18 gauge. Let's see what we can get into. So as I'm looking down it, those midways cause quite a bit of a wave. I wonder if we can get rid of that. All right. So we'll try to be nice and neat about this. Make, let's say, 4 passes with a loop at each end. So I've got a piece of metal here that's 12 inches wide. That way. So that's my starting dimension. Okay, let's see what we can get into now. I do know from watching some videos that you don't want to start off like on the end of the run or anything like that. You want to start off right in the middle. Sorry if my head's in the way. So we're going to start off right there. Now again, I know pressure is key on this. So I just made contact and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 full turns. Let's see how that does. Look at that. Our first rolled. Look at that. Well, would you look at that? Probably the copyright infringement now. So I didn't meet up directly, you can tell on the bottom. And the beginnings of both of my turns were a little bit sloppy. So I started here and I started that, but then I started getting the hang of the turn halfway through. Same thing here. It seems like I was a little bit too early to try to get into that turn. But overall, that is really nice and stiff right there. Just to show you comparison, let me just make sure that you can see from here. Yeah, here's without any ribbing. You can see I'm not pushing very hard. No ribbing. And with ribbing, I'm pushing quite a bit harder, and it's not bending. Oh, this is gonna be so much fun. Okay, let's roll this other bead and see how much shrinkage we have. So not too bad. Again, I didn't meet up quite well, but again, I'm making floor bands here. Man, that is strong. Oh, gorgeous. All right, how much shrinkage do we get? All right, so I got about a 1/16 inch less. That's not very much. So how much do I need to compensate for that? Or do I need to compensate? All right, let's see how this thing fits. Looks like I'm a little long in this one corner right here, but everything else is actually quite close. I'm a little over my line, but I don't care about that. So like when I do this middle panel, I'm probably going to overlap onto this panel as well and just do some spot welds and call it a day. There's not really a reason to sit there and try to butt them together. My back side here needs a little bit of filler in some spots. That's not bad at all for a first go at it. Wow. So yeah, I'm just gonna mark this one spot, notch that a little bit. And then we're gonna go ahead and rib it. So the factory floor pans, I was gonna say I'll show you a piece. Actually, I got one right here. The factory floor pans had a rib running the length actually I'm trying to think of where this actually started and ended. I think this ended, yeah, it was somewhere right in here. I think a little bit further back. But it had a rib on top of the trunk pan as well. And that's what I was just trying to show you. So there's actually, that rib actually goes up the back of the trunk as well right here. So I'm going to continue that. I'll have to fabricate another piece and it'll just be flat and broken twice. And then I'll continue that all the way down there. I might even just use a piece of flat and run it through the bead roller a few times. Give it like 3 beads or something, just to give it that rigidity. Because that's all it's meant for, is a little bit more structural strength in this area right here. So that's all I'm gonna do. And go ahead and mark where that rib was. And then I'll continue it up parallel to this side as far as I can. Sweet! I'm pretty excited. I'll need a little bit of banging right in here to get things to match up, but that side's not sitting down quite yet either, so I'll have to look at it when the time comes. Alright, let's go get some ribs rolled in this. Okay, so I'm going to mark out where I want my beads rolled. I started marking some of this stuff out, but then I realized I kind of need to talk about some of that in case somebody else is trying to do the same thing. So this is where that other rib is going to be. It's going to be right there. So I've already marked that as a no-no zone. There is also a body mount in the trunk in this corner. I've already marked that as a no-no zone. No-no meaning I don't want to roll a bead right there. This panel also overlaps that underneath rib by about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to mark that as yet another, yes you guessed it, no-no zone. And just so you guys know, I had no idea how bad this car was when I bought it. I didn't have access to the trunk. The guy didn't have keys. I'm not about to sit there and drill out a lock just so I can look in it. And he didn't have keys to the trunk. And the carpet and everything was hiding all of the damage inside of the car. So I didn't really have a chance to look at how bad it was. Underneath, the floor pans looked solid. The trunk pan looked iffy, but it looked for the most part solid, but that's also blocked by most of the gas tank. So you can't see but so much of it. Anyways, lessons learned. So this bottom section, I need to go measure that. This bottom section also overlaps. There's another reinforcement rib that goes underneath this. I need to go measure how long that is. Be right back. Okay, so that's up here. It's only about in there, but then down here, it's like 8 inches. I know, it's huge. And I'm just going in it rough so I can tell, okay, this is where I don't need to go into. So there's a lip right here that I purposely left from the old floor pan because it's still solid. So I left about a 1-inch lip over there. I'm actually going to overlap this on top of that lip and then weld. So I'm thinking about drawing a few boxes in this thing. And in here, I say we just do couple of long rectangles. I think that's a good idea. And then we can just slap it in there. I'm probably going to end up marking where that all of these match up to, and then drilling holes so that I can just spot through the top. And then I'll have to break this piece, but I'll be putting that in, I think, after the entire floor pan is in. I want to get this one at least tacked in, and then we can go from there. Time to roll those out. All right, y'all, so here's the pan with the beads all rolled in it. It adds a fair bit of warp, so, you know, obviously it's not sitting down quite flush. It needs a little bit of tweaking to get the fit in there, but I think we're in really good shape overall. I'm not going to really do a whole lot of videos on the recreation of all these panels. Just kind of wanted to give y'all just a gist of what the process was and show you, hey, look, this is my first time doing it. We're just going to hash at it and see what happens. So obviously there's one more rib that has to go all the way through here. It has to get spot welded all the way through there, spot welded all the way down this, and then welded all the way around the other seam. This corner had more rust on this section than the other side. You can see the other side, I didn't cut all that out. So I'm going to have to recreate this little bit of a curve and fit all that back in there. But I was planning on doing that on a separate piece anyhow. So anyways, gonna get some welding done and see if we can get this whole trunk pan done sometime. See y'all later.